Well, good afternoon, good evening. I'd like you to like this video and send it on to others. Today is October 18th, Wednesday, 2023. The subject today will be what's the difference between Israel and Hamas? I have to admit to you that yesterday I was watching a football game on my big screen. 8 days, 9 days into this conflict, this war, and I don't feel guilty. I'm a Christian. I don't take sides any longer in war. I belong to my Lord. I'm his servant. In the Old Covenant, if you had a servant that he'd been with you and been with the family for years, and he says, I don't want to go anywhere else. My house is with yours. You would take him to the fathers, the administration of the tribe or the city. You'd say he'd give the testimony, and he would put a hole in his ear. He'd awl it through, as they say, and he would receive a gold earring. That's what attached him to the master, and the master had certain obligations to take care of him. The same way with Christ. You make up your mind that you've really got the idea of who he is, who he was. You've gotten a pretty good idea through reading what he had to say of what his mission was. And you told his father, and you told him, I'll make this person, this being, my master. I don't know if you've got a spiritual hole in your ear with a gold earring. It can be seen by angelic beings. You know, the angels actually lean forward with an interest of what God the Father is doing with you. They understand quite a bit, but they are still leaning forward. Will this individual make it? Anyway, we're going to be talking about Israel and Hamas. I don't know if you're very good history uh, students. Some of us are gifted with the eye that we like history. We study it and we put it together. It makes sense. So the scriptures are full of history. I sit here and with YouTube, well, the other night I went through General Pershing. I've been through General MacArthur and Patton. I've been through Teddy Roosevelt. I've been some of the good. Wilson did the best he could, but he had a Colonel House that apparently had a lot of say so in Wilson's administration. But the real thing that you should know about it, you should know about the Ottoman Empire. You should know about the British Empire. You should know about the French Empire. And you should know about each and every empire. Now, I don't want to send you off in the wrong direction, but Hamas has as much right to that land, that God-forsaken land, as does these people out of Sino-Soviet Russia. They weren't born in Israel. They're not Sabras. That's one born in Israel. They have not. They don't have any right to that land. It's the British that screwed the both of them. The British wanted the oil, and they wanted to kick the ass of the Ottomans and the Turks, which were part of the Ottoman Empire. That, my friends, is secular history. If you want to get into whether God gave the land to Abraham. Abraham had a son, Ebenezer. He said, he told God, I've already got a son. He says, no, that's not going to, yes, you do, but that's not going to be the one I want you to be involved with. So Abraham started waiting, but in the meantime, he's poking around, if you know what I mean. And Sarah, she gets the ass, and she says, well, I'm going to fix this. So she gives her handmaiden, the Egyptian, Hagar. So of course, dummy Abraham, well, yeah, that sounds good to me. What the hell? So he nails her, and she gets pregnant. So she parades the baby around, probably a beautiful baby, and she calls him Ishmael. The story goes on that Sarah didn't like that, didn't love the situation, so she tells him to toss her out. Well, what's a guy going to do? Peter says it's better to live in the housetop alone than in the house with a contentious woman. So she tosses her out. But Hagar did the right thing. She prayed to God. And God heard her, and she says, don't worry, I'll take care of it. He also will be a great person. He may be a rather wild animal of the desert, and his clans will be lifting their weapons against each other for almost eternity, and that's what we have today. These people don't get along with each other. Anyway, things go along, and Abraham did the right thing. He took his other sons and he gave them a going away. He gave them an inheritance. He didn't toss them out in the desert. He gave them an inheritance. And they are and have been a great people until a certain prophet came along and took them off in the wrong direction. So today, bringing you up to date, is Israel never cooperated. So God tossed them away, but he says, I'm not done with them yet. And then pretty soon, about 150, 200 years later, these people calling themselves Jews, Yehuda. Now I want you to get your Bible out, and you have these Bible programs that want to trace things down, words. I want you to look up Judah and all the shenanigans this guy was up to. My God. Anyway, so God got mad at the Jews too, and he sends them off to Babylonia. Well, not all of them came back. Some of them stayed out there, and that's who Muhammad had to do away with, because he went to them and they didn't buy the whole deal. So he got rid of them. But that's what some Jews are still out there in the desert. They were clans and tribes. But the idea, finally, the Jews still didn't cooperate, even after they'd gotten back, and that's the whole book, 1st and 2nd Maccabees. That used to be a part of the Bible, But no, man, yeah, they took it out. No, we don't need those. Part is part of history. It finds out who the Jews really were and who they were marrying and not marrying and crossbreeding. Anyway, to give a summation till today, God in 70 AD, he kicked them all out. The Romans came in there after a hell of a war and killed a hell of these people, a lot of these people, and he kicked them out. So he kicked the Jews, he kicked everybody out. Nobody wanted to go in there until Solomon came along. Not the Solomon, but Solomon, the Arab. He came in there and he finally made a deal with King Richard, the Lion-Hearted, and I said, okay, we'll just leave it an open city, but we won that battle. So actually, God, he didn't tell anybody to come back to Israel. It was a guy named Theodore Herzl that decided, well, nobody wants us in Europe, so let's go back to where we think we came from. God didn't tell him to, but Theodore did. And that's where you get the Zionists. Anyway, the British, who were the real culprits here, they told the Zionists one thing, and they told King Faisal another. And both of them, by the French and the British, both of them got screwed. So these people are sulking along, and finally, 1948, something like that, again, nobody wanted the Jews. They're Christ killers. They admitted it. They said, yeah, his blood be upon us and our children after us. So good Catholic or good Christian in those days, yeah, we don't like the Jews. Let them get the hell out. Give them Madagascar. I think Hitler was going to give them Madagascar. Anyway, that's where we're at today. Neither the Jews nor Hamas belong to that country. I've been over there 3 or 4 times. Frankly, I'll take Southern California. I don't like the rocks. I don't like the desert kind of a thing. They don't even have good beaches. You know, what the hell's who's going to fight over that? They don't have any oil. That's out in the Mediterranean, and they're going to fight over that too. Anyway, if you're a Christian, God said in 70 AD, he says, get out, get out, get out. Get out as fast as you can. So if you're a Christian these days, don't take part in any war. Get out of the way. Spend your money, your time, take your family and go somewhere that God will provide, and you get out. Anyway, that's my advice today, and I'll stick to it. I'll see you next time. Shalom and Shalom Selechem. Okay.